Hello, seekers of wisdom and inspiration. Today I am thrilled to embark on a journey with you, a journey into the hearts and minds of some of the world's most successful individuals. Together, we will explore the profound insights, timeless wisdom, and invaluable life advice that have propelled these individuals to extraordinary heights of achievement and fulfillment. In a world overflowing with information and opinions, it can be challenging to discern the truly impactful advice from the noise. But amidst the cacophony of voices, there are certain pearls of wisdom that stand out, nuggets of truth that have stood the test of time and continue to guide and inspire us to this day. From visionary entrepreneurs and groundbreaking innovators to influential thought leaders and resilient change makers, the individuals whose advice we will explore today have achieved remarkable success across a myriad of fields and industries. Their stories are not only a testament to the power of perseverance, determination, and resilience, but also a source of invaluable lessons for those who aspire to follow in their footsteps. As we delve into their words of wisdom, I encourage you to approach this journey with an open heart and a curious mind. Reflect on your own goals, aspirations, and challenges, and consider how the insights shared by these successful individuals can inform and enrich your own journey. So without further ado, let us embark on this adventure together. A journey of discovery, inspiration, and empowerment. Get ready to glean the most powerful life advice from those who have walked the path of success before us. Are you ready? Let's dive in. The number one reason for success is that people focus on things with high potential consequences. The number one reason for failure is that people focus on things with low or no consequences. Exactly what I was saying before, the famous Drucker quote, "The worst use of time is to do something that doesn't need to be done at all." I have devoted my life to being an entrepreneur in small and medium-sized businesses, and I have spent the second half of my life helping other people succeed as small and medium-sized business owners. Carl Schramm from the Marion Ewan Coffin Foundation, the leading foundation in entrepreneurship, wrote an article in the Wall Street Journal 2 days ago. What he said was that there have been very few empirical studies on what actually makes a business successful. Most of what is taught in university entrepreneurship faculties is absurd. In fact, he said there are around 1687 entrepreneurship professors, and their main focus is self-indulgence, and saying that entrepreneurs have to have a business plan. And if you have a business plan, you will succeed. They spend 2 years in their faculties teaching people how to set up business plans, and 49 out of 50 businesses start without a business plan, including some of the most successful businesses in the world today. So now we are starting to learn what we really need to do to build successful businesses. And what Joe is doing here is absolutely wonderful because it can save you years of hard work and hundreds, even thousands of hours of hard work to understand how to do it much faster. To summarize, there is a learning curve in everything, and what we want to do is to leapfrog the learning curve. We don't want to spend years and years learning what we need to learn to reach a certain level of income. That's why I have focused in recent years on doing seminars, speaking, writing books and articles and programs for small and medium-sized business owners and aspiring owners. I'll try to summarize several concepts. One of the first interesting concepts was a little story that recently appeared in the newspapers. Warren Buffett, one of the richest men in the world, and Bill Gates, the richest man in the world, and Bill Gates Sr. were at a party, and the three are good friends. A gentleman approached them and said, "You know, you three are very successful. What would you say is the most important quality for success?" And the three, according to a witness, interrupted their conversation and said in unison, "Focus. Focus is the most important requirement for success in our fast-paced world today. If you can focus, you can succeed, and if you can't, you can't. It's almost black and white." I read an article about me. He was a very successful entrepreneur in New Zealand. The article was sent to me last week, and I was reading this article. It said that the turning point in his life was when he went to a Brian Tracy seminar and learned to focus. He was broke, he was unemployed, he had no money, and he came out of the seminar a completely different person. He had written goals and then looked around and casually saw an article about coffee shops and the success of Starbucks in the United States. It said that coffee shops are good businesses because more people like the idea of a specialty coffee shop. And if you have Wi-Fi, then they go there and it becomes a social center and so on. He knew nothing about coffee, and before the dust settled, he owned 80 coffee shops in Australia and New Zealand. Then he got divorced and had to sell them for $50 million to share the profits with his wife, but he didn't share and sold the worldwide rights. So he's rebuilding. Anyway, his point was that at the end of the article, they said, well, what would you tell aspiring entrepreneurs who want to succeed? And he said, just two things. He said, focus and fail fast. Focus and fail fast, learn fast, try something new. And I thought that would just happen because it's something I've discovered over the years. The faster you fail and learn, the faster you succeed. You learn to succeed by failing. You know the famous line from Thomas Watt Watson? If you want to increase your success rate, you must double your failure rate, because success lies on the other side of failure. Over the years, I have read a lot and come across a concept that I want to share with you. We were talking about this a little earlier. The concept is, what is the most valuable and highest paid job you do? It's a really interesting question because when I heard the question, I didn't know what the answer was. What do you think is the most valuable and highest paid job you do? And the answer is thinking. Thinking is the most valuable job. I am the world's best-selling author in time management, also in goals and some other topics. But I started studying time management about 30 years ago and came across a word in my studies, and the word was consequences. Basically, it said that something is important if it has great potential consequences, and something is unimportant if it has low or no consequences. The number one reason for success is that people focus on things that have high potential consequences. The number one reason for failure is that people focus on things that have low or no potential consequences. The famous Drucker quote, "The worst use of time is to work intensely on something that doesn't need to be done at all." And one of the things that is holding back entrepreneurs, business owners, is that it's killing them, in fact, and it's ending a whole generation, is this obsession with technology. I see people walking with their phones. It's almost like drug addicts who are injecting. They can't stop looking at their screen. They can't stop pressing their buttons. I hate to say that there are people in this room who have that problem, but the fact is that this obsession with looking at the screen and being connected is killing people because it prevents them from focusing. You can't focus if you're as distracted as a dog with attention deficit disorder, constantly daydreaming and responding to bells, almost like a crazy person in a toy factory. So as a brief aside, if you think the most important thing you do, because the consequences of thinking determine the quality of your entire life, then the quality of your thinking determines the quality of your life. And the more time you spend thinking and thinking well and clearly, the more successful you will be. Over the years, I have worked with some very powerful people, millionaires and billionaires, people who repeatedly appear on the Forbes 400 list. I've had the opportunity to be with them during crises and moments when something serious was happening. It was a major issue, and I noticed that they all had one thing in common. They all remained calm. They simply calmed down. The people around them were angry, worried, and anxious about what was happening and who had done it, and they just calmed down, almost like a tranquil pond. And I learned later, I didn't know why I admired them, but I didn't know why it was, is that when your mind is calm, your whole cerebellum, the thinking and decision-making brain, operates at the highest level. Like turning on all the lights on a dimmer switch, it works like a Christmas tree. But when you get upset and angry, what happens is that your thinking reverses to your limbic or emotional system, and your ability to think clearly decreases drastically, and you make many mistakes. That's why when you face a difficult situation, you have to use all the skills, tricks, games, whatever, to keep calm. And that's why you're taught to meditate. And they find that meditators in business are much more successful because they can automatically activate their mind in the calm of meditation when they face a crisis. It allows them to think more clearly. A few years ago, a man named Daniel Kahneman, a very good man from what I read who won a Nobel Prize in Psychology and Neuroscience, wrote a book called Thinking, Fast and Slow. And this book was a very esoteric book, and I don't recommend you read it. It's 500 pages of hard work. I'll give you the essence. I'll give you the essence. I do the reading, you receive it. I'll give you the essence of the book. He said that there are two types of thinking, fast thinking and slow thinking. Fast thinking is intuitive. It's instinctive. It's automatic. It's reactive. I think a lot of it is how you drive in heavy traffic. You're not thinking much, you're just interacting. And he said that the other type of thinking is slow thinking. And slow thinking is when you just slow down your thinking and take the time to think through problems. If a problem has few or no consequences, then you can think quickly. You already know what you're going to have for lunch, what you're going to take from the buffet, where you're going to park your car. These are decisions whose consequences are almost non-existent. But if it's a significant problem, then he says, wait a minute, this requires slow thinking. The profound implications of decision-making and its impact on our personal and professional lives. As we've just heard, the speed at which we make decisions can often be the difference between success and failure, particularly for entrepreneurs navigating the complex landscape of business. Consider this: the biggest problem facing many individuals, including entrepreneurs, is the tendency to rely on fast thinking when confronted with important decisions that carry long-term consequences. Whether it's hiring key personnel, making strategic investments, or charting the course for a business's future, the stakes are high, and the need for thoughtful, deliberate decision-making is paramount. As my esteemed colleague Mike aptly pointed out, one of the most common pitfalls in decision-making is the rush to hire quickly, rather than taking the necessary time to find the right fit for the job. Indeed, research and experience have shown time and again that the best decisions are made when careful consideration is given to each candidate, ensuring alignment with the organization's values, culture, and objectives. In my book, How to Hire and Retain the Best People, I outline a simple yet highly effective rule that has been proven to increase hiring accuracy to an impressive 90%. This rule, adopted by Fortune 500 companies and other industry leaders, emphasizes the importance of a structured hiring process that prioritizes thorough evaluation and thoughtful consideration over haste and impulsivity. Furthermore, recent studies in decision-making have shed light on the correlation between time spent deliberating and the quality of decisions made. As an esteemed professor at the University of San Diego eloquently articulated, taking the time to gather information, weigh options, and gain perspective can significantly enhance the outcome of important decisions, leading to higher quality results and greater long-term success. In the words of Lord Acton, when it's necessary to decide, it's necessary not to decide. This sage advice reminds us of the importance of patience and prudence in decision-making, urging us to resist the urge to rush to judgment, and instead prioritize thoroughness and discernment. So, as you navigate the complexities of decision-making in your own life, remember the wisdom shared today and strive to embrace the power of slow thinking. By taking the time to pause, reflect, and deliberate, you can unlock the full potential of your decisions and chart a course towards greater success and fulfillment. A weekend, a week, a month, postpone. Some of the best decisions you make will be decisions you allow to rest for a while, like water and tea. So thinking is the most important thing you do. We call it fast and slow thinking. So remember, anything that's important and has long-term consequences is data for slow thinking. Discuss it with others, sit quietly, take a walk, let it ruminate in your mind, sleep on it. You know, they say, if it's important, sleep on it. The thinking format I start every seminar with is what I call zero-based thinking. And anyone who has known me for some time knows that I insist on this. Zero-based thinking is derived from zero-based accounting, where instead of increasing an expense in the next accounting period, you ask, should we be incurring this expense at all? Now with zero-based thinking, you look at your whole world and ask this question: knowing what I know now, is there anything I'm doing that I wouldn't start again today if I had to do it over? This is one of the best thinking tools I've learned, because in times of turbulence, you always have an answer to this question. Everyone has an answer. Some people have multiple answers. There are many things they are doing today that, knowing what they know now, they wouldn't do today. They wouldn't start products, they wouldn't hire people, they wouldn't invest. And these are the biggest burdens in life. They're like an anchor in the sea that slows the ship down. How do you know if you have a zero-based thinking situation? And many of you were asked to write down your problems as challenges, as opportunities. The answer is stress. Whenever you experience chronic stress, it's something that buzzes around when Joe speaks or when someone else speaks. You're busy thinking about it, you drive and think about it. It keeps you awake at night. It's something that bothers you, irritates you, angers you, and frustrates you. Whenever you have chronic stress, which means continuous and constant, this is a candidate for zero-based thinking. So you ask yourself, if I weren't in this situation now, knowing what I know now, would I get into it? If the answer is no, the next question is, how do I get out of here as quickly as possible? If ever the answer is that you wouldn't get into this today, it's too late to fix it, it's over. The only question now is how much you suffer, how much emotional suffering, how much financial suffering you endure before you leave. So the most important requirement for practicing zero-based thinking, which many people don't like to practice, is courage. I call it the C word. You need the C word. You need to have the courage to look at every part of your life and say, is there something I'm doing that, knowing what I know now, I wouldn't do again? The starting point of zero-based thinking is always in your relationships, both personal and business. Whatever it is, now make a quick analysis of everything. In my company, what we say is that we look at every person regularly and ask ourselves, if we hadn't hired this person and they came today to apply for their current job, knowing what we know now, would we hire them? If the answer is no, they leave that day. There's a little rule, by the way, in one of my books that says the best time to fire someone is the first time it crosses your mind. Because after that, there's only pain and suffering. And the longer you keep them in place, the more likely they are to sue you. And the more they sue you, the more it will cost you. So if you find you've made a mistake, cut your losses. The second area, has to do with every part of your business. Joel and I were talking about what I believe is a new revolutionary field. Although it's not revolutionary or new, but it's business model innovation. And it's based on the concept that whatever business model you're using today is probably obsolete if you're in some kind of business that uses technology for marketing, especially an information-based business, a knowledge-based business. In knowledge, consulting services, training, or anything else, your business is likely to be obsolete. Now, there are some companies that struggle, then they find a new business model, and the next year their business increases 5 or 10 times. The profits are overwhelming. They live in big houses on the hill, drive Cadillacs, and fly in private jets. And you say, what the hell did they do? They changed their business model. And if you don't change your business model, if it's the wrong business model, your competitors will come and eat your lunch, or you will go bankrupt. So it doesn't mean that your business model is wrong. It just means that you must be open to the possibility that your business model is obsolete. And that means there is a better business model, there is a superior business model, and your job is to find it. And again, there is no fixed answer to that, but I think this is a great area of thought. I think this is a great area, and it's like a tool for you to have. If it's not working and you can tweak it, then that's fine. If it's not working, have the courage to admit that it's not working and walk away. And as we draw the curtains on our exploration of the most powerful life advice from successful individuals, let us pause for a moment of reflection. The wisdom shared by these remarkable individuals transcends mere words. It is a distillation of their lived experiences, hard-won lessons, and unwavering commitment to excellence. Each piece of advice serves as a beacon of light, guiding us through the darkest of times and illuminating the path to our greatest aspirations. But let us not simply marvel at the wisdom of others. Let us also take action. Let us integrate these insights into our daily lives, infusing every decision, every action with the spirit of purpose, determination, and resilience. For it is through action that we truly embody the wisdom we have acquired and forge our own paths to success. As you reflect on the advice shared today, I encourage you to identify one key takeaway, a nugget of wisdom that resonates deeply with you and holds the power to catalyze positive change in your life. Commit to incorporating this insight into your daily routine and watch as it transforms your mindset, your habits, and ultimately your destiny. And remember, the journey to success is not a sprint, but a marathon, a relentless pursuit of growth, learning, and self-discovery. Along the way, you will encounter obstacles, setbacks, and moments of doubt. But take heart in the knowledge that you are not alone. Draw strength from the words of those who have gone before you, and know that with perseverance, resilience, and unwavering belief in yourself, you can overcome any challenge and achieve greatness beyond your wildest dreams. Thank you for joining me on this journey of discovery and inspiration. May the wisdom shared today serve as a guiding light on your path to success, and may you continue to strive for excellence in all that you do. Until we meet again, remember, the most powerful life advice comes not from those who have succeeded, but from those who have dared to dream.